This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. Of the country's initial 1.1 million vaccine supply, around 44,000 doses have been administered since the government's immunization started early this month, according to vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. on Monday, March 8. Galvez said that the vaccine uptake has also increased as more medical frontliners have agreed to get inoculated to boost protection against COVID-19. The Philippines has so far received 1,125,600 doses of coronavirus vaccines developed by Sinovac and AstraZeneca, according to Galvez. The 600,000 Sinovac vaccines were donated by China, while 525,600 doses came from the World Health Organization's COVAX facility. After the initial hesitancy towards the Chinese-made vaccines, Galvez highlighted that more people are becoming confident in getting inoculated against COVID-19. He said they have received mounting requests for vaccine supply. The government has prioritized the vaccination of the health frontliners in the rollout of the life-saving drugs, and some government officials, however, have also taken the vaccine during the launch of the program last week, supposedly to help enhance public confidence in the immunization drive. An additional 20 million doses of coronavirus vaccines may be delivered in the second quarter of the year. According to vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr., the forthcoming supplies will come from AstraZeneca, Novavax, Sinovac, and the World Health Organization-led COVAX facility. The indicative deliveries of the coronavirus vaccines were discussed by Galvez during a meeting with President Duterte and other government officials on pandemic response Monday night in Davao City. He noted that the vaccine brands secured by the Philippines are also being used in other countries. Galvez said the government has started to deliver the vaccine doses to various vaccination sites in the country. Apart from Metro Manila, he said the immunization of medical workers has already started and been conducted in Cagayan de Oro, Cebu, and Davao. He cited the improving public confidence in vaccines as more health workers are willing to get inoculated to boost protection against the coronavirus. Don't let your guard down. This is what President Duterte reiterated due to the surge in COVID-19 cases in the past few days. The president said that the public should continue to follow health protocols at all times to slow down the spread of COVID-19. Our Malacanang senior correspondent, Jen Cabiling, has this report.
Alam mo, maraming namatay. Marami rin ang may sakit. Ang pinakamataas ngayon, Metro Manila mismo. Ngayon, anong dahilan nito? Well, yung hindi maniwala sa social distancing, hindi naman naniwala sa personal hygiene. Ang hinihingi lang naman ng mga doktor, kung sinasabi ng doktor para sa iyo, kapakanan mo, is maghugas ka ng kamay, mag-cover yourself with a mask.
President Rodrigo Roa Duterte appealed to the public during his pre-recorded public address on Monday night not to let their guard down and instead continue to observe protocols to curb the spread of the new coronavirus disease. Wearing masks, frequent washing of hands, and keeping a safe distance from others are effective means to slow down the spread of the coronavirus, according to the president. The country has recorded a 4-day straight of 3,000 mark of COVID-19 positive cases, a recent surge in cases after some Filipinos have abandoned the health precautions against the illness.
Maniwala kayo sa gobyerno, sumunod lang kayo. Yan ang sikreto diyan. Hindi para sa ibang tao yan, para sa iyo. At para sa ibang tao, kasi hawain mo.
Duterte stressed that even asymptomatic persons can still pass on the virus to others, adding that the people should stop touching their face as the virus can enter through their eyes, nose, and mouth. Meanwhile, the president has urged barangay captains to work at making sure that people follow minimum health safety protocols to avoid community transmissions of the coronavirus disease in their areas.
Ang barangay ang pinaka-importante sa lahat. Kung talagang kung ginusto lang lahat ng mga barangay captains na magtrabaho, really work at it, baka talagang decrease the number of transmission.
Duterte emphasized the role of the Department of Interior and local government in stopping the community transmission of the virus and in the vaccination of the citizens.
Okay, I'd like to just repeat again the role of the crucial participation or how the enforcement of these laws, especially those who do not believe and avoiding social distancing.
Duterte explained that as the president, he is the head of public service, while the barangay captains are considered the tail, alluding to the fact that barangay captains are foot soldiers and must therefore heed the directives of Malacanang and the different government agencies. The palace earlier ruled out reimposing a strict lockdown in the country despite the increase in COVID cases. The country still has sufficient healthcare capacity and that the economy could no longer afford another lockdown. For MB Now, this is Janeline Kabiling reporting.
President Duterte asserted Monday that he was not picon when it comes to dealing with criticisms hurled against him. The president, however, admitted that he was angry with Vice President Leni Robredo when she dished out half-truths about the advisory body's role in the use of vaccines in the country that allegedly fomented public doubt about its safety. Duterte informed Robredo that the Health Assessment Technology Council was simply recommendatory, adding the Food and Drug Administration already approved the emergency use of the Sinovac vaccines. Duterte also made clear that he was angry with Robredo, but not to the point that he wanted to kill a person. The FDA has allowed the emergency use of Sinovac vaccines, which paved the way for the recent delivery of 600,000 doses donated by China. The government has started to administer the vaccines initially to health workers, the first in the vaccination line. Under the Universal Healthcare Law, the health technology assessment process shall be institutionalized as a fair and transparent priority-setting mechanism that shall be recommendatory to the DOH and PhilHealth for the development of policies and programs, regulation, and the determination of a range of entitlements such as drugs, medicines, pharmaceutical products, and other devices, procedures, and services. The law also stated that the investments on any health technology or development of any benefit package by the DOH and PhilHealth shall be based on the positive recommendations of the Health Technology Assessment. Duterte said it is up to the people if they want to believe Robredo's stance.
Ma'am, hindi ako napikon. Hindi ako mapikon kaya hindi ko sarili ito. Ang akin, medyo galit ako for coming with a half-truth. Basahin mo kalahati lang, yung recommendatory power lang, na hindi na kinuha dahil hindi na nga kailangan kasi donated yun at saka binigyan ng authority ng FDA.
In Metro News, 2 barangays and 2 hotels in the city of Manila will be placed under lockdown starting Thursday, March 11, amid the rising number of COVID-19 infections. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso on Tuesday, March 9, signed Executive Order Number 6, placing Barangay 351 in San Lazaro and Barangay 725 in Malate under lockdown from 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, March 11 to 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, March 14. The Manila Public Information Office said Barangay 351 has 12 active COVID-19 cases and Barangay 725 has 14. Two hotels in Barangay 699 in Malate, where 17 active COVID-19 cases are staying, will also be placed under lockdown. These are the Malate Bayview Mansion and Hop Inn Hotel. In his order, Dumagoso said the city government will conduct disease surveillance, massive contact tracing, verification or testing, and rapid risk assessment as their response to the threat of COVID-19. The Manila Health Department also recommended declaring the said barangays as critical zones where enhanced community quarantine or ECQ guidelines shall be observed. Residents affected by the lockdown will be subjected to swab testing, the executive order read. All residents must stay in their houses. Only those with quarantine passes will be allowed to go outside to buy food and other necessities. Data from the city government showed that as of Tuesday, March 9, the capital city has 988 active COVID-19 cases out of 29,444 confirmed cases. Of this figure, 27,639 have recovered, while 817 have died. And here are the other updates in and around the metro.
The Parañaque city government created a composite task force on Tuesday to be deployed all over the city to strictly implement health protocols following a spike in COVID-19 cases by 20% in 2 weeks and the detection of South African variant of the disease in the 3 city residents. Mayor Edwin Olivares ordered the immediate creation of composite teams from local police and barangays due to the surge in COVID-19 cases in the city from reported 358 on March 7 to 396 on March 8, or an increase of 38 cases in just a single day. Olivares ordered the police and barangay officials to conduct a 24-hour monitoring all over the city and arrest all violators. Instead of implementing a granular lockdown in the city, Olivares wants the composite team to strictly implement the wearing of face masks, face shields, and observing physical distancing. The local government of Navota City has placed several areas under granular lockdown due to a spike of a new confirmed coronavirus cases in the city. All residents in the said areas will be provided with food packs, the local government said. Essential workers, meanwhile, will be allowed to go their workplaces provided they can present a valid company ID or a certificate of employment and a negative RT-PCR test result. Mayor Toby Tiangco said in a Facebook Live on Sunday that they have noticed more local transmission inside the household. Tiangco asked residents to continue observing health protocols to stop the further transmission of the virus. The Manila City government denied circulating posts on social media that certain areas in the capital city will be placed under lockdown due to the rising number of COVID-19 infections. According to some posts and even an advisory letter allegedly from the Manila Barangay Bureau, several areas in Binondo will be placed under lockdown. A separate post listed barangays that will be placed under lockdown in several districts in the city. Brigadier General Leo Francisco, Manila Police District Director, to whom the advisory was addressed, to debunked this, saying that similar Facebook posts were being made as early as July 2020. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso on Monday, March 8, authorized the Manila Barangay Bureau to enforce lockdown in barangays with high number of COVID-19 cases. Manila Public Information Office said they will announce any lockdown at least 2 days before it is implemented.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Phivolcs raises Taal Volcano's alert status to level 2 amid increasing unrest. Calbayog City Mayor and 2 aides killed in an ambush. And Marawi nurse gets vaccine jab to protect disbeliever parents. Here are the details.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or Phivolcs on Tuesday, March 9, raised the alert status of Taal Volcano from level 1 to level 2 as the active volcano has been exhibiting increased unrest since February 13, 2021. This means that there is a probable magmatic activity that may or may not lead to an eruption. Phivolcs observed that volcanic tremors have increased seismic energy compared to previous recorded episodes and range between 3 to 17 minutes in duration. Phivolcs also reminded the public not to enter the Taal Volcano Island, especially the vicinities of the main crater and Daang Castilla fissure, which are permanent danger zones. Local government units are also advised to continuously assess and strengthen the preparedness of previously evacuated barangays around Taal Lake in case of renewed unrest. Calbayog City Mayor Ronald Aquino and 2 of his bodyguards were killed in an ambush on Monday, March 8. The victims were on board a white van when they were fired at by gunmen riding 2 cars at 5:30 p.m. in Barangay Lonoy, Calbayog. The mayor and 2 of his security personnel died on the spot, while 1 bodyguard was brought by some residents to a nearby hospital. Meanwhile, PNP Chief Police General Debold Sinas has ordered a thorough investigation on the shootout as there have been reports that it was the group of Mayor Aquino who allegedly opened fire first and that the vehicle that was following them were cops from the Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group and the local PNP Drug Enforcement Unit. Despite her parents being coronavirus disease skeptics, a 32-year-old nurse at Amay Pakpak Medical Center or AMPC in Marawi City decided to be inoculated when the Sinovac jabs were made available among medical frontliners on Monday. Norhaisa Aragon, a registered nurse for 5 years, said she did it to protect her parents, although they have repeatedly expressed conspiracy theories about COVID-19 and the vaccines in general. Because her job entails assessing and segregating patients if they are suspected as COVID-19 carriers, Aragon said she was worried she might contract the virus one day. The APMC management started administering Sinovac vaccines to 1,181 employees after receiving the Sinovac vaccines from the Department of Health over the weekend.
In world news, Italy's virus death toll tops 100,000. Biden to give primetime address on COVID-19 anniversary, according to the White House. And Singapore builds floating solar farms in climate fight. Let's watch this.
Italy surpassed the grim milestone of 100,000 official coronavirus deaths amid warning the spread of new variants is fueling a fresh wave of infections, as announced by the government on Monday. In a video message of Prime Minister Mario Draghi, he said the pandemic has not yet been defeated, but with acceleration of the vaccination plan, they can see a way out. As in many other European countries, Italy's vaccine program has had a slow start, dodged in large part by a lack of jobs. So far, Italy has fully vaccinated only 1.65 million people. United States President Joe Biden will give a primetime television address this week, marking the 1-year anniversary of the U.S. lockdown ordered to mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic, the White House said Monday. In the address on Thursday, Biden will discuss many sacrifices that American people have made over the last year and the grave loss communities and families across the country have suffered, Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters. On March 11, 2020, World Health Organization classified the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic. 2 days later, then President Donald Trump declared a national emergency, banning entry to the country from most of Europe by non-US citizens and ushering in the now year-long lockdown that has upended the world's biggest economy. Thousands of panels glinting in the sun stretch into the Sea of Singapore, part of the land-scarce city-states push to build floating solar farms to cut greenhouse gas emissions. And while authorities have been pushing to change that, renewable energy is challenged in a country with no rivers for hydroelectricity and where the wind is not strong enough to power turbines. An island state threatened by rising sea levels because of climate change, Singapore is aware of the urgency of cutting emissions, although critics says authorities' environmental commitments have thus far fallen short.
In entertainment, Korean actor Na In-woo made his first appearance in the Korean drama River Where the Moon Rises as a replacement for actor Ji-soo, who was removed after he admitted committing school violence. In episode 7 of the series, aired yesterday, March 8, new scenes featuring Na In-woo in the role of Ondal were inserted. Korean TV channel KBS and drama production company Victory Contents earlier said Jisoo would be replaced starting in episode 9, but apparently they decided to totally erase any trace of Jisoo starting in episode 7 and introduce Na In-woo as Ondal. Victory Content said 95% of the total filming of the drama was already completed. Although reshooting of the drama would bring huge economic losses, it was decided in consultation with KBS. Other stars in the drama have agreed to reshoot the scenes with no additional fees, including Yoon Joo-man and Lee Jin-hoon. In sports, PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall said the sharp increase of COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila may force the league to reconsider the opening date of the Philippine Cup. Tentatively scheduled on April 9, the 46th PBA season begins with the All-Filipino Conference. But the target date might change as daily reports of more than 3,000 new infections cause an alarm to the league as the PBA prioritizes the safety of the players and the team staff. Marshall said that he sent a letter to the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases to allow teams to conduct 5-on-5 scrimmages and practice sessions and is just waiting for the right time to follow up his request. The league chief also said that the commissioner's office already requested the Red Cross to include all involved with the PBA to get a vaccine against the deadly virus. And those are the news on web today, March 9, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.